Hey guys, Carrot428 here, back at it again with the YouTube things. As usual, every 3 videos I seem to just disappear, but whatever. Anyway, I decided that I wanted to do some artwork for Hetalia, like on the channel actually, because I've done a portrait of Russia already. But I've been like super into this dead fandom for like months now, so here we are. And I'm going to try and keep this not political, considering I already have a video Speedpaint of America country humans that is way too political. So, I'm going to try and avoid that like the plague. Also, for those of you who do not like my voice, this time I've decided, because I'm so into this stupid fandom, that I made a playlist that is about the exact same length as the video, so long as you skip the 5-second ads. So if you want to check that out, it will be linked in the description. I have it on YouTube, and I also have it on Spotify, so however you want to listen to it, it will be there. And specifically for the YouTube one, I didn't want speech things from YouTube creators, so please remember to go and support the actual official videos. Thank you. Alright. So I decided that I would do this drawing of America, and I know I said that this wasn't going to be political. It looks very political. I can assure you the reason behind it isn't. Literally the whole reason I decided to do this specific drawing of America is because I was thinking originally of doing a screenshot redraw. The scene in episode 1 of America just speaking while eating a bunch of burgers because But then it turned into this, and I think the main reason it turned into this is because there was a YouTube comment a while ago in a video I was watching where someone said isn't America a serial killer or something? Because there is an episode where he says that he was so bloodthirsty that he forgot something. It's great. Hetalia is great. For those of you who haven't seen it, because it's been years, this isn't the early 2000s anymore, I say, having just gotten into the fandom. But essentially it is a show where countries are personified. Like country humans, only, in my opinion, better. Look, that's just my opinion. It depends on who executes it, but I really, really like Hetalia. So it's one of those shows that's so offensive to everyone that you can't help but enjoy it. I don't know. I've been big on this. I keep bugging people about it. I'm trying to convince my family to watch it, even though I might regret that decision, so, it's fine. And I also decided that I decided too that I wanted to try some new things with line work, which, funny enough, my pen decided to be kind of stupid during part of the speed paint. You'll see it whenever we get to the cup, but it liked to do this thing where it would just create a dot before every line, and it took me a few minutes to figure out why it was doing that again. But I know how to fix it now, I think, unless it changes again, which it probably will. So, yeah. I really wanted this drawing to be, as in canon as it could be, while still being slightly sinister, because Dark America is my favorite headcanon. I know, I love my wonderful goofball, who is sometimes violent and very strong. But it's just America just having his moments where he's just I enjoy drawing it because it lets me draw smirks more often, so hey. I'll say that too. My whole idea for this drawing was kind of based off that I want to try and see Dark America, but closer to the canon, wherein this drawing was more, it was centered around the whole New Year's thing, how kind of, World War III might have almost happened, but then COVID happened this year. But basically, it's based off of the whole, like, an idea that every New Year's, America just casually decides, do I want to end the world this year? Or maybe next year? And I don't know why I enjoy this. Again, maybe it's just because I like how America looks in this, but hey. I think it works. It's like, I like the 2Ps as much as the next guy, which are essentially like, you know, the dark versions of the Hetalia characters that the fandom came up with. But I like the canon designs a lot more. Like, don't get me wrong, 2P America is great, but I do prefer canon America, I think. I prefer all of the canon characters, really. Except for maybe England, but, you know. So, when it comes, though, to my favorite characters, it tends to be America and Russia because I'm basic like that. Also Canada because he deserves better. Which I guess I could say the same thing about the Baltics, but, you know. It's a good, dumb show. Each episode is 5 minutes, so if you want to just question everything, I suggest just watch an episode or two. It won't take up much of your time if you hate it. And then also, Tony. As well, America has an alien friend, and I just like that aesthetic. So this is where I was talking about the cup. I also decided that I was going to use this line tool I figured out using. Yeah, this goes on for a long time. But I decided to figure out how to use the thing to make like straight lines at different angles. And that's how I'm figuring out how to draw backgrounds now, because I need to draw backgrounds. I'm trying to work on the webcomic thing, although I literally just... My brain has come up with so many notes for my original webcomic idea that I just don't have the motivation to do it anymore, because it's like, fuck, how do I include this? While I made this, how do I add this in? So I'm making an entirely different comic now, and it's going to be on Webtoons eventually. Which reminds me, the reason that these videos haven't been going up as frequently is because I haven't had internet for like a month. A lot's been happening. You know, I haven't had internet, and we've been discussing moving, so I've been inconsistent in a lot of things. I think only recently I managed to post on my DeviantArt page that I wanted to throw myself into the sea because my stylus ran out of battery a while ago. But, I mean, beyond that, I'm fine. The world's just falling apart. No, I'd stop. Anyway. But yeah, no, so that's where I've been. I've also been working because I have a job now, because money is a thing that people need. But yeah, so I'm working on all of that. That has been my life for all of August. But I mean, since everything seems to be hopefully improving now, good stuff, I guess. Yeah. And if things go according to plan, I'll be able to get Cyberpunk when it comes out on my birthday month. So, yeah. I'm so excited for Cyberpunk. I am so excited for Cyberpunk and Vampire the Masquerade 2. I really want it to be good. But anyway, I'm trying to focus more on talking about the drawing for this. Oh, right. Actually, I think I just finished the clock for this, but there's a reason specifically that I chose 11:59, I think 57, yeah, 57. It's because also I picked New Year's to reference the whole doomsday clock thing, which is essentially I forget who originally came up with the idea, but basically it is a clock where the closer it gets to midnight is the closer we are to man-made destruction. And that's essentially what this is. Just like the whole... Literally, all of the other security things have been met, and we are a button away from nuclear destruction, is why the clock is so close to midnight, and why I decided to include the seconds. I would have put in PM, but I didn't, because I don't know. Oh, yeah. Well, that's why that's the way it is. Also, I faffed with text a lot in this. You'll see a bunch of windows open. I think, and prior to this, when I was writing turnkeys, I spelled Tim, and I still don't know where that came from. I think my brain was dying. Because I swear I finished the line work for this at like 3 in the morning. Because I do that a lot now, I guess. But hey, also colors. I finally figured out how to properly adjust my lines for whenever I accidentally make everything crooked in Fire Alpaca, so I am pleased. And honestly, I think this drawing is so much better for it. Haha. Oh. Also, you might notice my lines are way cleaner than normal, because I really, really like how that looks now, so I guess I'm doing that now. I've basically just slowly changed my entire style over the course of like the 9 or 10 videos on this channel now. But like, I don't know, I consider it improvement, at least in my characters. I'm working on improving my backgrounds. At some point, they'll be up to par with what I want them to be. Yeah. I ended up really, really liking how Alfred looked at the end of this. Also, America is also called Alfred. But I don't know. I messed around a lot. I tried combining more, like, how I do airbrush with the cell shading a bit better. I also did 2 layers of cell shading for most things, which I really, really liked too. Just the entire drawing ended up being my favorite thing, and I've literally, while waiting to be able to, like, get music and stuff to put in the background of this video, because again, have not had internet, I watched this, like, several times because I enjoyed it so much. Because, like, it's taken a long time for me to get to the point where I can enjoy the art that I've made. Like, if I scroll through to, like, the beginnings of my DeviantArt page, I hate all of it. But I genuinely, like, appreciate the stuff since, like, I started putting, like, thumbnails on my YouTube videos. I really, really like how a lot of those drawings turned out. And I like a few from, like, before then, but some things are just bad. Although there is one drawing that was really old that I did of frickin' Jade and Yuki from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX in this, like, pose and as a reference to, like, one of the Hannibal promotional art pictures. And, like, I swear I drew a really, really good skull that I had no right to be able to draw back then, as well as a really good hand. And honestly, I'm just sitting here wondering where that talent went for a while. Like, my ability to draw hands was and still kind of is so inconsistent. It's not even funny. Like, I don't know what I did. I think some spirit possessed me to be really good at drawing that day, because, like, compared to the other stuff at the time, it's so good. Especially with the brushes and stuff I used, because that's when I was still using, Autodesk, I think. Yeah. Because that's when I could draw on my phone, because it had a stylus that, like, detected things properly. I miss drawing on the go, but my phone doesn't support that now. So, eh. And I like the tablet. I like the tablet more. I like the tablet more. So, hey. Well, so I ended up really liking the most how Alfred's hair looked when I was working on this. It ended up being really, really good. Well, in my humble opinion, how I do hair. Because, like, I tend to be lazy about hair textures, but ever since I started working on that comic thing, I've started to trying to get more into that. Although, honestly, the style of that comic's probably going to change by page 5, because I like it, but it is kind of glossy so far. I also just realized I haven't mentioned at all what the comic is about. Basically, it's going to be a webtoon. Probably, like, I should warn before I say more, it's a very dark concept. Because I like dark things. I'm sure you couldn't tell by this drawing. But essentially the comic focuses on our main character, Louis, who is a guy turning 18 looking for a job over the summer to help pay for college. And he ends up working at this library under a dude named Riley. And Riley, very nice, unassuming, very a kind lad. Very, how do I... My first thought was intelligent himbo, which, I mean, I guess he's just a good, like, I guess the best way to describe it is there's a throwaway scene where, well, I say throwaway, character development, I don't know, but there's a throwaway scene where there's this lady who constantly just comes in and brings Riley biscuits, and he's always just like, oh, thank you very much, this is so sweet, and he'll just like casually just eat biscuits throughout his day because someone bothered to bring them for him. But, although he does not take care of himself, which is why she does bring him biscuits like every other day. But no, the plot of it is essentially, though, Louis is this, like, kid who needs a job, and Riley decides to help him afford college and help him with books and stuff by letting him work in his library. Although this library, because I have mentioned, is very, very dark comic. This library is not as it seems. And I will leave it there because I don't know how much I'm going to put in the description of the webtoon comic. But whenever that comes out, I'll probably do a promotional speed paint for it and announce stuff about it. Because I actually have pages completed for it, unlike my original comic I've been having in the works for years. Because, of course. I'm very excited though. I like how the dialogue and stuff is turning out so far. I'm working on getting the art up to par, although I've bothered to, like, I made it take place in a library, which means I have to draw bookshelves a lot, and I'm trying to avoid that like the plague right now, but I know I should stop, probably. But soon it'll be good, I promise. We'll see though. And I mean, the art isn't all that comics are about. Otherwise, why would One Punch Man be so popular? I want the next season. Anyway. Much like how I want more Hetalia content. I want Hetalia to become big again so I can, like, have more things to read and, like, look at. Just don't get me wrong, there are still people trying to, like, make stuff for it now. Like, the fandom somehow isn't dead yet. But I want more. So I had to cut because something happened. People happened. So I don't remember what the heck I was talking about, so we're just gonna continue like nothing happened. Anywho. Watch Hetalia. Watch anime. Watch more anime if you don't. You should. Always just watch anime. But, moving on. I've been here. I literally have no clue what the heck I was talking about, so. It's noises now everywhere. People are awake now. I say, it's 4 in the morning. Don't ask me why. I don't know. I'll say, like, I guess the whole reason I am so big into Hetalia is just because I got into it when I was, like, on the whole, like, country humans thing, and then I remembered, oh yeah, that thing exists, I wonder what that's like. And then because one of my friends was talking about it a lot, I ended up starting to watch it. And then I finished Axis Powers in a day. So, you can tell it went well. And then I think from there I'm somewhere smack dab in the middle of the 2nd season. So, that's where we are now. And it's so disorganized so far. I hear that gets better, but it's so disorganized, and I'm just sitting here like, oh, well, I mean, like, I remember it's, in the first, like, group of episodes, there's this whole thing where the allies, like, because Hetalia takes place, like, around World War II, at least Axis Powers does, I don't know about the other seasons. But, yeah, no, they make an effort to avoid, you know, some of the topical things of that time. But no, basically, though, the Allies are, like, I think about to ambush the Axis powers while they're on the beach, like, around a campfire or whatever. And they reuse that footage of, like, America saying, "Hi, China, go! I choose you!" Like, 5 times or something, like, over the span of several episodes, and I'm just sitting here like, the first time it happened, I'm like, am I watching the right episode? I don't, and no, I was, it was just, like, laziness. And, I mean, I can stand that, but also, like, I don't know. I don't know how big the team was that worked on Hetalia's original animation. I really don't. I don't honestly know much about the production of most things, but especially not Hetalia. I think the only thing I know production-wise anything about is Hannibal, because that I should do a fan art drawing of Hannibal at some point. Actually, this reminds me, I should probably, like, I don't know. I wanted to do a character mashup, but I forget who the characters were, because my memory is that of a goldfish, before we did research about goldfish. So, I have worse memory than a goldfish. But, I wanted to combine, I want to say, what? I know where I'm doing this. Why don't I remember? Alright, no. This literally happened today. What? I wanted to combine, there's a Tumblr post of Light and Ryuk from Death Note, with Ryuk in a very similar pose to Bakugo in a scene with Deku. And I wanted to, like, frickin' draw Bakugo as Ryuk and Deku as Light, and I want that AU, kind of. That reminds me, there's a one-shot I posted, because I write sometimes, of frickin' Death Note concept that randomly came to mind of Light instead of, like, being, like, quirkless or whatever, having basically the Death Note as his quirk. And I love the concept so much, but every time I sit down to write it, because, like, I think I'm 3 chapters in, I just sit there like, I don't want to finish this. I don't want to finish this. Because, like, that's why I turned that, the comic's called The Bucket Library, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. But the reason that The Bucket Library is a comic book now is because I started writing it as a novel. Because I do like writing a bit. But as I got, like, halfway through chapter 1, my brain went, you are not going to finish this. And so I was just like, yeah. And now it's a webcomic. So, but I don't know. I'll get productive more, especially when I have internet. So, you know, I promised myself once I finish page 5 of the comic, I'm going to start posting it. So I, like, have incentive to post it. And so that'll probably be soonish. Like I said, probably when I get internet. Because I'm in the middle of finishing the coloring on page 4. So that's almost done. It already waves more progress than I've ever made on the original Mr. Bad Guy comics. So, good stuff. I don't know. If I end up scrapping that, which I probably will do something with it eventually, but if I end up scrapping it, I'll probably just release sketches and stuff. It's like, I started a donation thing for it forever ago, and I just, like, I think all it has is the premise on there, so that tells you how much that stuck with me. See, I need to do more things spur of the moment while I'm really hyping into the idea, or else I'll never finish anything. Which is why I always try and finish the line work for drawings, like, the first day I start working on it, because otherwise I'll just be like, I don't want to do this, and then I don't. So, yeah. Beyond that, Also, just appreciate that American flag. I tried to draw it to the best of my accuracy. It has 50 stars, and the stripes are all in the correct place, because patriotism has inspired me to be able to draw the flag correctly. Also, art brain. So, yeah, I think the only thing I was really truly lazy with in this drawing was these balloons and that, like, alarm light siren thingy. Because I was going to do that thing where, like, you do, cut off, like, light rays, sort of, like, to show that, you know, siren is on or blaring or whatever. Because, like, I don't know if that's a thing that nuclear places have. I don't run missiles. But I was going to do that to make that look nicer, but then I got lazy. Which I feel like sums up why I don't do a lot of things in drawings. Like backgrounds normally. But since I have not been drawing backgrounds at all, and I've been focusing on drawing characters, I decided that I wanted to make this a scene. And hopefully I get better at doing scenes in the future. I will say though, I need to work too on remembering where lighting is in scenes, because there are 2 light sources in this. And I forgot to highlight the part in red for coming from the siren light, because So that's fun. That's fun. It's 4 a.m. Excuse me if I'm rambly. I don't know why I'm trying to record all of this in one shot. I think I'm just being lazy. I'm being lazy. Mostly because I want to get something on my channel, because, again, every 3 videos, something happens, and I just sit here like, why? It's like I said, I was going to try and do something to make more consistent videos, and one of those videos, and I just didn't. But I mean, at least I always have an excuse. It's usually not my fault. Usually, I should say. But it still happens, and it's frustrating and annoying. Also, excuse the flashing. I like messing with gradients a lot and blend modes, but I always end up using multiply or add or screen. Never really anything else. Which, you know, hey. But we're approaching the end of this video, so I should probably, like, wrap this up. Yeah, this was rambly, but I hope you enjoyed. Links to the usual things will be in the description or whatever, and yeah. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed this madness. And watch Hetalia. Cool. Alright. Later, guys. Have a nice day.